This is Erica Chase, and you're listening to Rock at Night.
Are you ready? Hey, tonight I'm gonna take you on a little trip. We're going down south by the mighty Mississippi. I'm gonna take you to a place where lights never dim. Bring your mother, your brother, and your best friend. I'm gonna show you where they dance out in the street. They'll tell you all about your body heat. Not gonna talk about it, just gonna do it. Get on down if you feel up good. Now get on down.
Okay, this is Anita with Rock at Night, and I'm very pleased to be interviewing today Erica Chase. And Erica, thank you for joining Rock at Night.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. It's my absolute pleasure.
Now, you've just recorded a single called Paris that I just listened to yesterday, and the video is done beautifully with images in the backdrop. Can you tell us a little bit about how that video happened and how that got put together?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, my first single that I've ever released to the public that's on all digital channels now is Paris, and we knew that we wanted to make something really cool with the video, and so it was sort of a long shot, but Chris Hickey, who directed the video, is known for directing a lot of the Keith Urban videos and Carrie Underwood. And, and he's a big-time country music Nashville director. And I was a fan of his video called Raise 'Em Up with Keith Urban and Eric Church that came out last year. And I said to my team, hey, this guy needs to direct the video. And they looked at me like I was crazy. They're like, okay, well, good luck with that. And I was like, no, I just know it. I know that this is the right guy for the job, and let's just reach out to him. What's the worst that he could say? No. So we did just that. I reached out to him directly, sent him the song, and I almost half expected him either to say no or not to even reply, but somehow he replied within 8 hours or so and said, hey, there's something really cool about you. You have a different voice. The song really hits me. Yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. So from that first conversation with him to the finished video that's out now was like 30 days. It really happened in this cool, organic way. And he came up with the treatment of sort of doing a really personal, artistic video that really uses images projected on me, behind me, around me, through me to really milk and echo the sentimental quality of the lyrics. And it just really resonated with me and with the song, and I think that it's a perfect visual companion to the single.
I liked the way the visuals, the backdrop, especially the birds. It was just beautifully done, and it was the word I could come up with was ethereal, almost. Really beautiful. How did that song happen? The lyrics are very poignant, and was there something that was the catalyst for the lyrics in that song?
Yeah, that song actually came about in a slightly different way than I normally create. Usually what happens is I'm a pretty fast songwriter. Within 20 to 30 minutes, a song will kind of come out, and I really just think of myself as a vessel, and songs flow through and when they're ready. And so I never really have an idea in mind, a lyric, anything. Music and lyrics always happen sort of simultaneously, and they just flesh out into a song, or it doesn't. But with Paris, I was driving in my car in L.A. because we're always driving in our cars in L.A., and I was listening to some instrumental music, and the first line and melody of the song, I Thought I Left You in Paris, just literally blurted out of my mouth, and I had no idea where it was coming from or why, and it was just so strange to me. So I decided to do something differently, and since I was close to my home, I was just like, all right, there's a reason that this sort of came out, so I'm going to try and write this song that's starting itself early. So I went inside and grabbed the guitar and and Paris just really came out. And afterwards, which happens with all my songs, I've sort of realized what they're about when they're done. During the process, I'm not in this like world. I don't know, there's like an altered state of mind that happens. And so I really understand what it's about when it's finished. And literally it is about a relationship and a lost love, but the memories are so palatable and they're still so fresh, and there's some comfort in knowing that those are forever, even if the love has passed. So it really, I think that everyone can relate to that notion, whether you're lost a love or a sibling or a parent or whatever, but you can channel them and you can feel them when you think about those beautiful memories.
What is the process normally if you're not near a guitar? How do you get the song out? Do you keep a notebook or an app on your phone, or you said that the lyrics and the music kind of come simultaneously. Mm-hmm. So if you're in a situation where you're not near your guitar and you can't get it out, what do you do to save that process?
That really doesn't happen to me. Like I said, it usually is more of like when I do have my guitar that something comes out. So I don't really keep a notebook or anything like that. Maybe sometimes I'll get an idea or something, but if it doesn't sort of happen all at once when I am with my guitar, then mm-hmm. I don't really pay attention. I don't know. I don't go back to things. I don't have like, this is a verse idea, this is cool, I'll go back to it in a month or something. I know a lot of songwriters do that, but I don't know why I write the way I do, but it's just something that I've done for so long that that's just how my creative brain is programmed. So that's why the Paris thing was so weird to me, because that really doesn't happen to me.
So it comes in pieces in a way. Some of the questions that I had were about your background. One of the things that wasn't on the list that I had of questions to ask is, do you think being in Los Angeles and being bred there, do you think that gave you an unfair advantage in the music world now that you're in the music world? Do you think it just gives you more of an open door to people that can help your career or contacts?
I don't think so. I mean, yes, I grew up in LA, but I didn't know one person in the music industry or the entertainment industry. So there wasn't like someone I could call to mm-hmm. sort of help me. It's just a place that I grew up and where the entertainment industry is based, but I didn't have like access to it. So I definitely mm-hmm. had to work as if I came from any other place. And when I did connect with someone in the music industry for the first time, it was my manager, Dana, and he's based in Las Vegas. So
right.
I think that even if you are from LA or New York, or you're John Lennon's kid, or you're Adele's sister, you still have to work really hard, and you still have to be driven and good at what you do, and patient and humble and open. So I think that it doesn't really matter where you're from. You still have to give it your all.
Right. How did you meet Dana Strum? How did that happen?
Yeah, that's an interesting tale. And he is an interesting fellow, that's for sure. We got connected through an ex-business associate of my dad, and this guy was also an ex-associate of Dana's as well, and based out in Las Vegas. And I was in my final semester of college trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life and myself. I had always wanted to be an artist, but was way too scared to really admit that to myself. And so I had applied to a teaching program called Teach for America and was not accepted by this program. And instead of being sort of devastated and distraught, my reaction, I was disappointed, but my reaction proved to me that this wasn't where my heart really was. And so a couple weeks later, I got connected to Dana through this guy, and this guy had told my dad, hey, your daughter's a musician. I know someone in the music industry. Maybe they could talk. So Dana gave me a phone call, and we spoke for about an hour. I'd never spoken to anyone in the music industry. Like I said, I grew up in LA, but I didn't know one person. And I had to Google Dana before speaking to him because I was super young when his band Slaughter was in their heyday, so I didn't know who he was. I just saw his long hair.
Right.
This guy looks interesting. And there was just something about our phone call and something about the questions that he was asking me, and it just left me with this really strange feeling of elation and fear sort of combined. It was almost like I knew something was about to happen, and then less than 24 hours later, I was riding my bicycle and got hit by a truck and almost died.
And that was the challenging part. It was almost like, even peeking into your future to try to put it together, kind of got waylaid for a long period of time. How long were you in recovery?
I wasn't in recovery that long. I injured my left foot and had a concussion and some minor injuries. So I walked with a cane for about a month or so. But honestly, from the wreckage of the accident, I shouldn't be here. The bike was completely in pieces. I did not have a helmet on. The truck's windshield was shattered, glass everywhere on the street.
Wow.
So it was just crazy, the timing of all that, and just after feeling this weird feeling after speaking with Dana, and I was like, all right, universe, I get the signs. Life is clearly too short, and I got to listen to this voice that I keep shutting down and just, chase my inner passion and my dreams and be an artist and take this road less traveled, because you never know when there's going to be a truck around the corner, and I might not be so lucky the next time.
And you saw the other side. You actually saw the white light.
I did.
How was that experience when you actually came to? Were you aware that that's what happened, or did you really have to think about it for a moment? Hey, what just happened?
Yeah, it is a very unique and strange sensation. I don't remember the actual impact of when the truck and my bicycle collided, because everything did go all white. And that's just your body's, fight or flight or freeze response to protect you from danger and to keep you alive. So my first recollection is waking up in a Flight for Life helicopter with an oxygen mask on me and, the EMT just trying to check vitals and stuff. But I can still now picture that from sort of outside my body. Like I felt like I saw my body covered with the mask and all that, but I wasn't really in it. So I feel like once you have a near-death experience, there is this frame of time where you're sort of in between here and wherever else, and it's really surreal.
And we never know. What's amazing is, when you want to get into like esoteric and spiritual things, usually we don't know the moment of our birth, and we definitely don't know the moment of our death. That's a mystery that only the universe knows. But I believe we have a pre-approved time to be here to learn our lessons. And, that was obviously a lesson to you. You have to pursue your dream, and life is short. So that's the lesson for all of us while we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that everybody has that moment. Not everyone's been literally hit by a truck, but everyone has this sort of crossroads moment, or this moment of uncertainty of where you maybe are thinking about doing what you should do or what's expected of you instead of what's really in your heart. And And sometimes, you know, it's always darkest before the dawn, and you just have to trust your instincts and just know that whatever you do, just do it authentically, and it's going to be okay somehow.
Now, I understand that you have some causes that you feel pretty strongly about. What are those causes? Because these, from what I know, this is your way of paying it forward. So what are those causes?
Yeah, I spent a few months living in Scotland when I was in college, and I worked for this great center for adults with cerebral palsy, and I did music and art therapy while I was there. And so I still support Capability Scotland, and that was one of the most eye-opening experiences of my entire life, for sure. And here in LA, I volunteer with a great nonprofit called Share a Meal, and we provide healthy meals to the homeless in various parts of LA, and we've just created a very cool community, and it's definitely making a difference here.
So the homeless issue is a big one in large metropolitan areas that have predominantly warm weather. Los Angeles is definitely one of those cities, and where I'm from in Tampa, St. Petersburg, we have quite a large population that is homeless, because most of these people know that if they sleep on the street at night, they're not going to freeze,
right?
You know, like they would up north. So it's a big cause here. Of course, we have groups here like Food Not Bombs and different groups that feed the homeless. And my favorite, the Refuge in St. Petersburg, which is another amazing organization. Now, you have a whole bunch of different pop music and pop music artists that you love. Adele is one of those. What are some of your other favorite pop musicians and songs that you like to hear on the radio?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do love Adele. I'm also a huge fan of Ed Sheeran. I think that he's a really amazing songwriter, and what he's able to do with just him and his guitar and a loop pedal is really inspiring, and I think that he's really had a positive effect in the last few years on pop culture, and just the music that he's bringing forward is really organic and just raw, and back to that sort of singer-songwriter-y thing that we haven't really seen in the limelight in a while. So that's definitely inspiring for myself as an artist. I also think that Taylor Swift is really good at what she does, and she's a really smart businesswoman, and definitely inspires me in that realm of being a female entrepreneur. And there's a lot of great artists right now. The Weeknd, I think that he's really cool. He's got that sort of Michael Jackson thing going on, and Bruno Mars, I think he's an amazing genius.
Bruno Mars I love. I love all of them, but Bruno Mars is definitely how can I say, him and his band are so tight, number one.
Yeah.
And the other thing is he commands the stage. I mean, he's like almost like an old-time performer. When he gets on the stage, everything stops, you know.
Yeah, he's got
kind
this
of like
James
that.
Brown thing, and they have the whole kind of throwback Motown.
Right.
Yeah, no, the band is super tight. He's really good. He's got X factor out of his brain. He's super talented, and he's definitely someone I aspire to be like in that way, although he can dance way better than I can.
Now, it's amazing that you've come all this way, because when you were young, you were discouraged, and that left some real emotional scars on you. Do you care to talk about that a little bit, or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're referring to when I was bullied for my singing voice when I was younger?
Right.
Yeah. When I was really young in elementary school, a teacher told me after I was auditioning for the school musical in front of the school that, you know, singing's not really my thing, and she pretty much just shut it down before I even finished. And it was pretty hard to hear for a young 7-year-old kid, and I really internalized that and took that to heart for a number of years. And so even when I was in middle school and I joined the choir because my mom wanted me to, I would lip sync every day because in my mind I thought, hey, I couldn't sing, and the voice that comes out of me and always has is not your typical female voice. And I think when you're a kid, I think a lot of young people can relate to this. Is all you want to do is fit in. That's what we're told we should all be this sort of way. And I never could. And so because I couldn't, I was picked on because of things I couldn't change. I couldn't change my speaking voice or my singing voice. This was just what naturally comes out. And so I think that for many years I let that negatively affect me until I realized, like, hey, you know what? I don't want to be like everybody else. There's a reason that this is
you don't
different.
Want to.
And maybe I could have a voice for the underdogs, for people that are bullied for things that they can't change, and let's make this a positive thing. So I love when fans reach out to me on social media and stuff and share their stories of being bullied and ask, how do you get through this? And really, what you really have to know is that someone that's bullying you, it has nothing to do with you. It's all about what's going on with them, and they're projecting their own fears and insecurities on you. So we all just need to be compassionate and acknowledge that, we're all just doing the best we can to get by in various ways, and just try to be kinder and realize that only you have the power to believe whatever you want to believe about yourself. No one else can make you feel small or big or whatever. That's all you and what you choose to believe.
I find your voice to be very rich, and it's almost like a borderline, like alto contralto. And I was thinking just the other day, there are alto contralto voices out there that are amazing singers, that have been on the pop scene and rock scene for a long time. Like a couple that came to mind were Annie Lennox, for instance, and Cher. Her voice is definitely not traditional.
Right.
Some of the newer ones, like Lake Street Dive's Rachel Price, doesn't have a high register. I mean, she can hit those high notes because she has a range, but she feels very comfortable singing in that lower register. And those voices, I think the alto voice is beautiful, and you're right, it's not what you would normally hear in a pop song, but It's certainly different, and it makes the listeners sit up and take notice. And I noticed when you sang Paris that you do have an amazing range, because there are some high notes in that song, and I thought about that song and I said, wow, that song would be hard to sing. It would be hard to sing unless somebody had a wide range. And so I thought you really showed your vocals off in that song, and I thought it was really well done. So what advice would you give to somebody that's coming up and they want to be a musician and they want to pursue that dream? What would be some of the first things you would tell them on ways they could become successful?
Sure. I think first you really need to have a clear idea of what success means to you in the music industry, because there's not a one-size-fits-all thing. And so if you just want to play music and sort of play in clubs in your area and amass a local following, that's a different trajectory than, hey, I want to play stadiums and be on the radio and tour around the world. It sort of takes different steps to reach those. So you have to be clear with what you want, and then you can create a good plan of going about it, which includes, I'd say, learning every aspect of the music business. I was fortunate to have a mentor like Dana who early on exposed me to tour budgeting, accounting, hotel riders, tour requests, royalty statements, just merchandise deals, just every aspect of the business thing, and how to read contracts and how to protect yourself and protect your most valuable asset, which is your music and your intellectual property. So I think you really need to educate yourself about that, because there's a lot of amazing, talented people that sign bad deals and get taken advantage of every single day, especially in LA where I'm based, and they're so hungry for it, and they want it so badly that they'll just sign on the dotted line, and they don't realize that they're signing a deal with the devil sometimes, and it's really sad when that happens. So educate yourself, come up with a clear plan, and then work really hard and constantly challenge yourself. And then the biggest thing, and this is the thing that I have to tell myself 25,000 times a day, is be patient. Be patient.
Yeah, be patient. That's because it'll come. It'll come if someone's persistent enough and works hard. I really believe that. Do you have an EP coming out or plans for a full album?
Yeah, we do have a second single that's locked and loaded, ready to go. We're about to shoot another video with Chris Hickey for that. We're not really sure. I mean, we'll probably package up an EP. We have an entire album and a half length of music mastered and ready to go. We're just not sure when or how we'll release it as a package, because today people just sort of want music and expect music whenever, and it's kind of cool to just give people a song at a time, and instead of sort of overwhelm them with a catalog of music that they might not know. So we're just sort of testing the waters that way.
What are some of the changes in the music industry in regards to women in music? Do you think that women are unfairly disadvantaged or might be treated differently by people in the music business?
I think yes and no. I know for me, I always experienced as a female guitar player, when I was younger, I'd go into Guitar Center or whatever. Oh, you're here for your boyfriend? No, I'm here for me. And I know there's still a lot of that stuff that goes on when women are instrumentalists and whatnot, not being taken as seriously. It's still a boys' club in that way, but I also think that there's so many powerful women that are expressing really positive messages, like Taylor Swift or Adele, and that's really changing the narrative, I think, for a lot of people, and is empowering a lot of women and young girls especially to believe in themselves and to just do what's right for them, no matter what the critics or whatever obstacles are in their way. So I think that yes, it's always, this world is always kind of has this unbalance, just in all aspects, not just the music industry, but there are a lot of powerful people that are really starting to speak up. So that's really cool.
If you could collaborate with anybody that's on the rock or pop scene right now, who would it be?
I think I would have to go back to my boy Ed Sheeran. I would love to collaborate with him, and I think that we would look pretty cute together, a little blonde and ginger, and we could definitely have a good time.
I love his hair. I love the way he plays music, but even funnier yet is whenever he gets on stage, the girls are screaming. It's quite funny. And I don't look at him as being very much of a sex symbol. I mean, he's not exactly the cutest thing out there, but yet he's got a vibe that's really amazing. And I think it's just because he's so in touch with the emotionality of his lyrics, and what he's singing about. And I think that's what the girls are going for. And the hair, absolutely. The red hair.
Yeah, that too. But I think also his songs are just easily identifiable to anyone, and because they're real, they're based on the human experience that we're all going through, and love and loss and heartbreak and pain and excitement and fear and whatever it is. And I think he really packages that up in a way that's accessible to anyone that's 8 years old to 80, and that's
Yeah.
really cool as a songwriter to see someone doing that. So
He's got an insight about love. He's got all this very rich insight, and he's not, an older guy, and
No.
you would think he's not that experienced, but yet he seems to touch on that experience somehow. So yeah, he's pretty good like that. Now, what do you like to do when you're not playing music? Tell our listeners something they might not know about you, or might not be able to find out about you.
If they do find out about it, then I'll have to call the police or something. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
No, I have a dog. I love him. His name is Hendrix, and I love spending time with him and going hiking. I am into the LA lifestyle of being super health conscious. That's definitely a huge important thing for me. It really helps me creatively to stay healthy physically and spiritually. I have a great closeness with my family and friends. I love traveling. I really love life, and I got a second chance to live it, so I really try to take that to heart.
Amazing. And are you vegetarian or vegan, or just
I was a vegetarian for many years, but actually that really didn't work for my body, so I'm not a vegetarian anymore. But I am super health conscious, and definitely eat a lot of kale and and quinoa and all those great things, and cook a lot. Yeah, I mean, but most of the things that I like to do are music related. If I'm not playing music, I'm reading a music autobiography or listening to music or seeing a documentary about music.
Right.
Yeah, that's what wakes me up.
And what are your plans, like, say, for the next year or two? Do you have a vision of what you want to accomplish, both personally and musically?
Yeah, I definitely want to be on tour and be able to travel across the country and maybe even outside of the country and just play music and live that kind of lifestyle for a bit and see what that's like. That's something I always dreamed of doing, and I also would like to keep releasing more music and videos and continue that with the service work that I do and sort of combine that and see if we can bring music and cool service work and volunteer work and to the masses and try to do something good with that.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. You've given us a little picture window into your life, and it was just wonderful that you got a second chance. Some of us don't get that,
Absolutely.
And you got it, and now, we're looking forward to seeing and hearing more about you.
Oh,
and how can people find you? I noticed that you're on Twitter most of the time, but you're on Facebook and the regular socials. Tell people the links to those.
Sure, yeah. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Erica Chase Music, and on Facebook I'm Erica Chase Official, and my website is ericachase.com, and everything is there. All of my interviews and media and videos and behind the scenes cool videos and a blog and lots of information is on the website, and that's where you can find me.
You're listening to Rock at Night.
Thanks for the intro melody. It's called Get On Down by Billy Bass Alford. Thanks.